Hello dear friends, it is another episode of our rain retreat Damma Talk series 2024 in bolankanda thapoarana, Pasiyala, Sri Lanka. In this first season I thought to give some instruction on the topic of mindfulness practice in daily basis. In these sermons, I try to encourage you all to do it in daily basis actually. Most of the time people are thinking meditation isn't for everybody, and they think what they believing is mostly if we need to practice meditation, we have to go somewhere very quiet, very peaceful, no sounds or no any distractions like that. But according to the mindfulness sermons given by Lord Buddha, it's not like that. In that sermon, Buddha teaching us to practice the mindfulness in every way actually. But what we believe is the happiness is not for us maybe, but we can gain happiness in somewhere else, maybe in a monastery or a forest or something like that. But Buddha encouraged us, our foremost teacher encouraged us to practice the mindfulness in daily basis in your life. Where are you as it is? So, to do that, maybe it's better to start from a quiet place, but sometimes you can't find those places, Who knows, right? Maybe you are very busy with the work or the responsibility around you, and when the trouble is like that, if I push you to go somewhere else and to do a retreat alone or stay alone or something, maybe it is not practical. But as I mentioned before, what Buddha encouraged us is practice mindfulness in daily basis, because that is where we feel our suffering. According to the Buddhism, if you see what is suffering is, you will be able to find what is the happiness. That doesn't mean actually you have to be suffering all the time to be happiness. I don't mean that, but what I meant was, if you try to stay with you where you are, or if you try to aware what you are doing right now, that is where maybe you messed up, or maybe you messing around, or that is a time what you can understand how you do it properly as an enlightened person. So basically, Buddhist philosophy is kind of like light, I could say, because it can see things. I mean, mindfulness can see things what we never seen before. For example, like everybody in the world, maybe we see things through our eyes, we hearing through our ears, we taking smells from our nostrils, and we tasting from our tongue, and when we feel the sensations in our body, and we think in our mind. Everybody do that. That doesn't mean, friend, one person only see the pictures from his eyes, or another one only listening. That doesn't mean. But sometimes some unfortunate incidents we have in the world, and I'm not going to talk about that though. But anyway, the tricky part is when we see things, or hearing, or smelling, or tasting, or feeling, or thinking, we do it with another attachment, I could say, which is sometimes we like to think, or like to hear, or like to feel in this way, or like to taste, or like to smell it, or like to listen, and like to see, as well as dislike. That dislike part also goes around. So when we not in mindful, we don't know what's going on right now in our own senses, through our own senses, like images, or like sounds, or like foods or taste or something like that. But we don't know what's going on, but we creating the cravings inside us. We creating mental images, mental wanting images, I could say, inside us as like and dislike. Maybe today we like something, but unfortunately tomorrow we don't like or dislike it. That is a normal scenario of our everybody's life, except the people who has mindfulness. They also do that, but they know it. But others don't know it. They don't know nothing. So, when we make our craving storage, when we filling our craving storage with like and dislikes, most of the time, unfortunately, we can't gain our hope success. We can't fulfill our goal. So, that's why when we think about our past, it is not likely to think about. We don't want to think about most of the time, because our past isn't what we want, isn't what we wish for. That's why we start to imagine about the future. This is what I want. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to hear. This is what I want to eat. This is what I want to smell. This is what I want to feel. And this is what I want to think. Or I could say wish. But if you see the bigger picture, that the thing we see as the past and what we desire from the future also make us more craving. That's why our world, that's why our life, our soul become frustrated about everything. We don't know what to do. Because every time what we wish for, it isn't working. It isn't what we want. It is not giving what we like. All the time it's happening something else or otherwise. This is very unfortunate incident for all of us. In the other hand, our foremost teacher, I mentioned before, the Lord Buddha, and his name was Siddhartha actually. He got enlightened by himself, which means he has no any teachers around to teach him how to overcome your suffering and how to manage it. This is you should do. No one knows until he came up with it. But he has to work very hard to learn that method. In these days we called it damma, D-H-A-M-M-A, and it's very popular in the world right now actually, because his method works very, very well. Works very well. To my mind, one time he says about himself, how he become enlightened or how he overcome suffering. He told, he did not attach what he sees. He did not attach what he hears. He did not attach what he smells or smelling. He did not attach what he tasting. He did not attach what he feeling. He did not attach what he thinking. It's totally different like us. What we know is we have to attach like or dislike, as like or as dislike. But what Buddha did was, he did not attach as like or as dislike. He did not. That's why he became enlightened in the present moment. Because, my dear friends, our present moment is these senses. If you collect the data in a day, not in a day, maybe in 1 minute or something, you will notice that we can't use our 6 senses all in one time. No, we can't do that. When we hearing, that is only what we do. When we listening, no. When we seeing, that is only what we do. But mind can goes these 2 things very quickly. So we notice, what we notice is, it is working together at the same time. But it is not. If you see close enough, you will understand. No, it is not. So, when we collect this data, you can get the final result as sometimes you thinking, next time you hearing, maybe next time feeling, maybe next time seeing, maybe next time thinking again, maybe, and hearing, etc., like that. But the scenario is, we have something else under going on with these things. That is called craving. It is happening as like or as dislike. That's why our life is becoming more and more wanting. People are more attractive to desire, but they don't know what they desire of really, what really desire of, what they really wish for. They don't know really actually, but they have desire. But if we see clearly in this situation, we can understand people just wanted to see, just wanted to hear, just wanted to smell, just wanted to taste, just wanted to feel, and just wanted to wish or think. That is only people want. That is only people can do. We can't do other thing at all. But when we do that, so we are creating the suffering around us. We are generating our suffering feelings. We are creating the frustrations because what we wish for isn't working at all. Sometimes we wishing for the God, from the God, sometimes from the nature, sometimes from something else or someone else. But there's everything becoming back to us as not like what we wish for. That is the reality. So that's why life is becoming more trouble for us, and that's why people are unhappy and mostly stressed and depressed. But unfortunately, they don't know why they become depression or why they become stress. Actually, it is because of the craving of what they wanted to take from the world, what they wish, because of their wish. But if you practice mindfulness hard enough, in the present moment, you can understand, or you will understand, what is the present moment is. Sometimes you can think about your past, but it doesn't matter. But if you understand that I am thinking about past right now, that is called mindfulness. So when you mindful, you can decide whether you continuously do this so, or maybe you don't have to do it. But if you don't mindfulness, or if you don't mindful, you don't know what's going on right now. So when you mindful, you will notice when you have doubt, when you have desire, you will understand without doubt that you have desire for likes, for like wanting, or maybe you can have a desire to not wanting or as dislike. You will notice these kind of things without doubt. You don't have to ask from someone else or from the outside sources. You will notice that you have these things already with you. Or if you don't have those kind of things, you will notice that too. And if you don't have those things, at that time you will notice that is the pure happiness is becoming or creating in your life. That's why, my dear friends, we should practice mindfulness. According to the Buddhism, actually, there is no specific time to practice the Dhamma, or mindfulness, or meditation. You can do it everywhere. You can do it anytime, what you want. There is a saying in Sathimathbawa, in Tranquil Contemplations, you can be mindful, but you have to remember to do it. Mindfulness isn't hard to do, but you have to be aware, or you should remember to do it. So, in this first season, in this rain season, I would like to invite you all to practice this practice in your daily basis. But I wanted to tell you, you can't practicing these things in all your senses all the time, at one time. Please try to do it like a very light way, I could say, without make any push. And you will notice what is going on underneath, like that. What you're seeing isn't maybe the point or the reason you make suffering. The idea what you wanted to see is the problem. But if you are not mindful, you don't understand that. You can't understand because you don't read it. You don't know what's going on. But when you're mindful, you will notice and you will understand what is going on, and then you can decide whether you do it or not. That's how we understand our suffering, and we practice how to be happy. That is why I wanted to say, happiness isn't far away actually. It's nearby you. It's everywhere. Please try to practice little by little in your daily basis. This is your time to decide or make understand who you wanted to be. Are you wanted to be a suffering person or a happiness person? It is your choice. Thank you for listening. See you next time.